3, 4. All right, so we should be good on here. Let me just turn this up a little bit. That turned it down. We're going to get good on our audio. So this, trying out a little bit of a new setup today, although not a huge fan of this one. If you're wondering where the audio is, it should be here in a second. It's a little bit too loud for me. That should be good. Alorio, what's going on? The Mighty Miggy, what's going on? Oh, you know what? My backpack is like on the treadmill, and the treadmill's making a funny sound. Let me just, I might have to make an adjustment here real quick. What's going on? Is that a new mic? No, same old mic. Miggy, it was peaking, man. It was peaking pretty bad. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1. That's pretty much it. It was peaking pretty bad. So that's all good to go. The FX8. I don't know what the hell they're going to call it. I don't care if they call it Tim Tebow. But I do have a wish list of the FX6 Mark II, if there ever was one to exist. My personal opinion, I think that's probably going to come out before an FX3, just the way that they do their cycles with cameras. But hang on one second. Shit, I don't want to take this off my steps. But at the same time, what you guys are going to see here is a little bit of movie magic. So while I'm walking, what I'm going to do is I am going to set up an entirely new live stream setup in real time. And I'm going to do this all walking on the treadmill. And I hope I don't fall. There we go. There we go. Now I'm going to see if I can get this on here. If I get this on here. This is actually way harder than it looks. I got to like balance, screw this guy in. And then, there we go. It's a little bit cooked, but let's see if I can get this. Well, it's going to be a little bit crooked for a little bit while I try to figure this out. So let me just try to turn this way and then turn that way. That's better. That's a little bit better. Hang on a second. Okay, audio's perfect, you guys said. FX9 is next. I don't think there's going to be an FX9, if I'm going to be completely honest. I don't know if the name is going to be FX8. I think they'll call it something. And I'm sure to maintain the price point where the Burano is and whatever's going to happen next. Maybe you mix together the FX9 and 6 because they did have a lot of overlap. But looks good now. Kind of tight, but good. Yeah, so I could actually move back a little bit. And there we go. We're a little bit farther back, but what's cool about this is I could technically move that around. And I think I'm going to do that. I think this is where the live stream camera is going to go from now on. I just didn't want to have it in front of the window because it's kind of a hassle. Or I didn't want to have it back here, which is kind of a hassle. So, Thomas, what's going on, boss? As long as the NFL uses Sony for everything, I don't see a need for them to update any of their bigger cameras. Anything buys them, no matter what the specs. KG, the reason why they do that is because Sony signed a exclusive technological partnership with the NFL in, I want to say 2024. So I don't know for sure, but I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't. But there you go. I have not tried the Sigma RF 17 to 41.8. Yeah, the name could be different, but feature wise, I could see that happening. I don't see putting 3 more cameras in the FX line making any sense right now, especially with like there's not a ton of budgets and stuff. I don't necessarily know if there needs to be a Brano and 4 FX line cameras plus 2, 3, like 2 or 3 more from another generation. So I don't know. We talking about my wish list for the FX2. I don't know nothing. I didn't hear nothing. Don't ask me nothing because I don't know nothing. I know nothing. I'm still Lumix and Blackmagic gang. Actually, funnily enough, got the S12 here, and the S1R2 is recording this live stream. The S12 is the live stream camera. I have a kind of creator thing I have to go to for a car, oddly enough. And I was going to bring the S12. The only problem with it is my S12 is stuck to my base plate. Like, I can't get this off no matter how hard I try. So, like, right now, the lock is off. I'm pressing the button. This doesn't come off. Comes off on the R2, and I don't want it to be big and bulky, so I might have to leave it at home. Yeah, the FX6, honestly, downsampled image with on-body audio, I'll be fine. Like, I think most of what the FX6 does, and honestly, I just saw it today, but I did a spot campaign for Visa in Visa Canada before I left to Africa, and what's it called? We shot them on FX6s. We wanted to shoot them in open gate because it would make our life so easier, but we shot on FX6s and it looked fine. I have enough gear. We have enough gear for a while. How do we get back to getting our skills up in gear that we already have? Yeah, I love gear as the next man, but me talking about gear is just a genuine interest. So, like, if you don't want to talk about gear, I think the best thing to do is if you see gear in the title, I wouldn't go anywhere near it. It's like if I wanted to go on a diet, I wouldn't turn on the Food Network. You know what I'm saying? So that's how you could do that, is that you just, like, the things you don't want to participate in, I just wouldn't. And it helps you get better at the things that you're looking for. Walk it like I talk it. That's funny. Oh, you can leverage from your cage and push it out. You just need a cable to do it. Okay, that might make sense. I'm going to try doing that. The ND's great. Sony is supposed to blind Blackmagic, according to who? So this is the one thing I'm going to keep kind of free on this video, because I think we're just talking. I don't sit too close to the TV with rumor sites, because if you start believing everything a rumor site says is true, and then it doesn't happen, somehow the trust for that rumor site doesn't go down. We just keep it the same and we keep portraying things as if they're true. Let's not do that. Regarding naming, Sony got burned in the past, giving cinema names Mark II, aiming to get killed. Oh, I didn't know that. Table, Jesus, I hate my phone. Yes, I will agree. Blackmagic has the best UI. Okay, so I made a little list of things that someone who's used the FX6 for 3 years, and I still use it from time to time. The idea is pie in the sky. We have to keep things the same price. What are realistic things that would be cool? It's not going to dramatically change how you do filmmaking. That's not the point. But in this world of interest-based media, in me, man who is interested in cameras but still works professionally, I like talking about these things. I'm going to kind of just set a primer. If you've come to the video about camera gear to distract from the conversation about camera gear, we are going to a steakhouse to tell everyone we're vegan. We're just talking. It's fine. It's not a replacement for filmmaking. We just talking. So, well, Alton, unless you have some insider trading information that we all need to know about, I'd love to hear it. But what we're going to talk about is FX6. Can keep the FX6, and we're going to start off assuming the price is the same. First, I want a 3.5 millimeter jack on the body. I don't necessarily need mini XLR. or XLR or whatever. But for workflows that require like gimbal operation, which is a big thing that ate at my soul, I need 3.5 millimeter inside of the camera itself. So when I take off that handle's nice, it's ergonomic, it's great, has a lot of custom buttons. I would love even like a module where you could like take the handle off and like those inserts you could put inside little spaces, and then you could put audio on there. If anyone's using FX6, if the audio not being on the body has bothered you, you can leave a W in the chat, because I know it bugged me for a year. So I have no idea what's coming 2026. I just want to see something not expected. I didn't know I was missing. Yeah, I'm like, again, we're just talking. I like having topics while I do my treadmill stuff. But yeah, so that's the first one. Audio would be great. I think a lot of people that use them, that is a major gripe. I'd love to see the ND filters go a little higher. I know it's because of built-in electronic. It goes up to like, I think 8 stops, and other cameras that don't do the electronic part go to 10. One of the reasons why is I go to the Arctic in, I think 3 weeks, I think in a month, less than a month. Actually, no, yeah, less than a month. And one of the things that we kind of didn't want to go with the FX6 with was its NDs only go so high. So if we're shooting in the daytime in the Arctic, everything is like blank white, and trying to get exposure in daytime might be difficult. And putting an ND on top of a thing that has NDs sounds kind of ridiculous. I'd rather just have, like, just start with higher NDs. So that was part of the reason of the decision making there. I'd love if they had their stops of their internal electronic NDs just a little bit higher. That'd be great. And I never thought I would have to use stops higher than 8 until you have to use stops higher than 8, then you realize you're screwed. So that helps. So I got audio, NDs. Oh, there's been rumors about the S1H2 since like 2023. FX6 2 to 7 stops. Sorry, not 8, 2 to 7, which I think actually proves the point even more. Like, I just get to 10. 10 would be great. Hey, KG, respects, bro. Sony needs to fix that tiny knob on the front. Every FX6 I had experience with, the tiny knob is broken. It should be at least 6K XLRs on the body. Open gate, doubt it. I doubt XLRs on the body to keep the body small. Reason being is it's like a lot of sports teams will use it. A lot of sports shooters will use an FX6, at least from my understanding. And dock shooters. So if you have to make the body bigger, probably not. They'll probably leave XLRs on the handle. I think so. But a 3.5 or like a mini XLR, I'm good. I've never had my knob break. That sounds terrible. I've never had the little knob on the top handle break for me. I have used the top handle till the paint on the handle rubbed off. So there's that. Yeah, Sony kind of made it clear that open gate is not going to be a thing, which is frustrating. It's very frustrating. They're like, I have work jobs where you have to do multiple deliverables. I just did one. The last video I just put up, we did another one. So is it nice to have? Yes. It's like, I think dismissing it as like a nice to have feature, or not like, hey, it's a really nice to have thing and makes your life easier, especially when they manufacture the sensors that can do the open gate anyway. I would love to see it. I think we should. And if it's good enough to put on your Venice, then it should be good enough to put on an FX6 Mark II. All I want is 4K 10-bit long up. Yes, okay. I was going to say, that's a big one. And that's something that if you guys don't use the FX6, you won't find out. The FX3 has one more mid-ranged codec that's long up, but it's 10-bit. On the FX6, you either shoot all intra or 8-bit. There's no in between. That's super frustrating. If I want to save on file space, I'd love to do that. Now, to be fair, the market has made 1 terabyte CF Express Type A cards. But if I just want like a lower data rate, you had to make some pretty big concessions, which I don't want to make. Like, I don't want to have to make that decision if a camera in your own lineup that fits in the same ecosystem doesn't have that problem either. So I have not. I'm behind one. I've not seen the Hikari episode yet, and I know Kashimo's up next. So I haven't seen it, but the culling game so far, like the culling games actually really hasn't like super started yet, but so far it's good. Just click the stream while I'm at work. Thanks for your motivation in the treadmill. Yeah, man, we're actually gonna do. I'm gonna try to go for like a daily hour, just because like I don't have many times to go lift. I'm probably gonna go lift Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. So the days that I don't, I got a minimum of an hour, hour and a half of cardio. And the days that I do, well, I do. And then also we are back to dropping the calories a little lower. Can't wait for the FX2 Mark II. You'll be here a while. I just want to say, super proud of health. Yeah, man. I want to be able to. I told myself that I would do YouTube till I turn 45 years old. And then I'm done. I'm done with social media at 45. During that time, though, I want to be nice and healthy. And also the reason why I kind of got into freelancing was to give myself more time to train. I used to powerlift and bodybuild. And I haven't been paying attention to that too much. So I want to do that. This might make or break the year for Sony. If they don't come out swinging, people will start selling. Ricardo, I kind of agree and kind of disagree. I think you need an even longer span of time of that happening. Like, I'd say if it was like end 2027 and nothing's happened, I'd be like, yeah, okay. 26, like, from what I know, like, their current cameras still sell so much anyways. I don't think that's going to happen. Because they reached the threshold of, like, they've reached the threshold above the bell curve of what most people are going to be happy with. It's just like there's a smaller percentage of people that want high resolutions in OpenGate that don't like that are unhappy with already exists. If that makes any sense. Sorry. Every time I get a random text message and I see it on my computer, I get distracted. But there's a smaller percentage of people that I don't think know what some of the features are missing are yet. The only other thing I could think of is that if every manufacturer makes basically an FX3 clone that's like significantly cheaper, I could see that happening, but I don't think that'll be in 2026. Sony doesn't put OpenGate on the new FX36. I think a lot of people consider other brands. I only disagree with that because of a sunk cost, not fallacy, but you're kind of trapped in that ecosystem. Like if you're in a production company, it's hard to change everything over. And if producers are still asking for it, but that's not because of the merits of the camera. I think that's the convoluted argument people make with Sony is that like, yeah, well, pros still use it. I'm like, yes, but also there's tons of producers and there's tons of like job asks that just know what an FX3 is, and it's not necessarily because it's so good. It's because that's all they're familiar with. So, yeah, I was kidding. That was my response was a joke. That was I answer sarcasm with sarcasm. I'm sorry. Help me FX3. If I shoot PP1 and I have no idea. The S-Log3 is, I think, S-Log3, to my knowledge. Did JJK turn to Yu Yu Hakusho? I can't answer that without ruining the rest of the series, so. I appreciate anime for explaining everything. Oh, I appreciate the anime explaining everything, especially with JJK. What are you dropping calories to? Don't worry about that. We'll talk about that later. May have a video on it. The FX6II and FX32 don't have good specs. It's another 5 years of Lumix and Canon outspec current cameras. That's the reason. Yes, I get that. I think just the turnaround will take longer. Sell all of Sony gear. I'm looking for another. Why is Cam's live at the same time? Cam just sent me a text asking why he's live at the same time. Well, I still want to do my cardio, so I don't know. You guys are going to have to choose. He's like, why don't you tell me when you're on live? I'm like, bitch, you don't tell us every time you're on live either. What's going on, Chris? This is why it's good to have a few AF lenses that have body agnostic class or body agnostic glass options. Yes, I agree. However, I don't even know if Canon has EF support anymore. I totally agree. I still because industry standard and it's fine. The same place, Sony camera, Sony to cover. Yes, that's what that. So, Graham, I agree with you. I think the time displacement between the two events happening is farther along. Like I think like we're at time. Like if there's like a 5-step program between consumers getting pissed off and switching systems, we're maybe at like 2 out of 5, and I think to like 4 or 5 is like end of next year, maybe beginning of 28. I could see people get mad. Don't say to choose. Hey, you know what? If that is what it is, if Cam wants to invite me to his live stream where I can do my cardio, I am more than happy to join. However, I have committed to doing 4 hours a week of this cardio. I'm not getting off this treadmill. I'm not changing the vibe up. And I like talking some shit in ways that are non-destructive and not hurtful to other people. So, if you guys are going to go to Cam's chat, you could tell him, hey, bring Kofi to your stream. You can do that. Let's just do that then. How about we do that? Kofi came same time. If you call me Kid Rock Reg, I'm calling that racist. You can't do that in February. Open gate. Yeah, I can believe that. Higher resolution. I think a little. You know what? And I also think it's kind of inevitable, man. Like I think you're gonna get that. If anything else, I could see them saying like, "Hey, we're either gonna like give you a downsampled image, or we're just gonna outright here's 6K. Shut up, kids." I could totally see that. Lumix still doesn't have full product ladder yet, which makes it a non-starter a bunch of professionals, regardless how people how feature they are. Hopefully, we can see FX supply from Lumix. Logan, I agree with you. I will also say though, from understanding the metrics from some of these cameras that have professional buyers, that's a percentage that's less than 20% of people. So I think in a time where like maybe you don't have the most budget in the world, you kind of focus on what's the biggest, like what's your biggest area of effect, which I think they're doing with the mirrorless cameras. So if only 15% of people buy these compact cinema cameras in like the grand scheme of the camera market, it makes sense that that's going to be like not a first priority. Even if we're loud about it, we're still small. That's kind of the realism of things from a business perspective. Time to raid Cam's channel. Yeah, my reason to go with Lumix XCOM on Alliance is pretty strong. And why not go to a company that strives to give you the most out of the cameras? Yes, Ricardo, I think that, like it'll take a little while before everyone else kind of gets on that same wavelength. It's Black History Month. I'm staying here with my brother. See that? You see that? KG got that shit right. He said it's February, and we're gonna stay in solidarity. I respect that. Stay tuned for anamorphic cardio with Cam Mackey. Should I tell him? Should I tell him just invite me to his stream? I don't want to do that though. Like he could come to here. We'll see. We'll see what he says. But I'm only 24 minutes in. I got 36 left. So. Yeah, they do have box style cameras in like the BS1 that thing. I just don't personally like it. I think there's like a better way of doing that if they're going to go the boxy route. I would love to see them do that again. I think that'd be cool. So, hey, Thomas said stick with it. See that? You see what that is? You see what that is, guys? Only if he says super chat, Steve. Cam doesn't even share a thought, let alone a super chat. He don't share nothing. He's selfish. He won't share. You can tell him I said that. You know what? You go to his chat and you say Kofi said he's selfish. I don't care how many people are viewing this chat because every time I do this, one extra person decides, yeah, I'm going to do my cardio today. And if that's 33 people, that's good for me. I do want to, like, you know what? Just because we're here, I'm going to go and crash his chat. Let me see. Let me just see. Hang on a second. Hang on a second. Let me see if I can go. Let me go see if I crash this man's chat. I'm gonna go tell him he's a hoe. Now imagine the S1H2 box style camera we all want with the S1R2 sensor, 60 frames a second, open gate. I think it's gonna look. I think that'd be a sick idea. Hang on a second. Let me just mute this guy. I'm tired of hearing this one. He already sent me this video. I don't need to hear it. But I would love that. I would love like a red Komodo S12. I think that'd be dope. Or even like a like a red Komodo like a little guy. I think we all would love that. Hang on a second. Let me just see this. I called Cam a huzz. We'll see if he actually shows up. But yeah, okay. So we're still not done with what I'm talking about. So FX6 Mark II, high in the sky, perfect world. Firmware updates don't break the camera. I know that's annoying to say, but it has happened and it has affected more than one person. I think if Sony can, stable firmware updates. Because as much as we're like Blackmagic just had their recall, I'm not forgetting that the A7 IV had a bricked firmware update the day before the A7 V came out. So more stable updates I think would be great. I think Cam would think jollof rice is too spicy and not eat it. I really don't want to do my cardio today. Thomas, nobody wants to do the cardio any day. But when it's cine gear, I want to be jacked and snatched. And the only way I'm going to do that is my cardio and also eating properly. Isn't that the ZR? No, this is the S12. Oh, Cam got his intro. Oh, and he's talking about some stuff. What'd be hilarious is like if we reacted to Cam's chat. If the motherland makers can have a firmware backup and a recovery chip, why can't Sony? I don't know. I just think, yeah, just more stable updates, man. I think that'd be cool. Hi, Kofi. Love so much the FX3 sensor. Even if just 12 megapixels, I have two of them in the ZVE1. Would love to have the the 6K FX3, but afraid of a different rendition being digitalish. Truthfully, I don't necessarily think a camera's megapixels is going to dictate whether something looks like digital or film, per se. Like, I have an Ursa City 12K. I would never call the image digital. So, I don't necessarily know if a 6K sensor will do that to you. So, Greg, I didn't say it. I'm going to leave that up. Just so if there's ever a complaint, we know you said it. I didn't say nothing. So. Agree. I heard lots of people talk about the S1R2 sensor just hits different. Would just hope it can speed up the readout. Yeah, I don't. And I guess that's kind of the problem too, right? Like when you're buying sensors from a third party, the hard part with that is trying to change anything different from what it can do. And if Lumix is already topping out a sensor so much that it overheats, I mean, they fixed that part too. I don't know how much more we're going to get out of it than what we already said. We've already seen. I resemble that statement. That's crazy. Whiter than sour cream. Oh, man. So, if you guys want to go and see it, I think Cam played his intro for his Pixis 12K video. But Kobe being on 1,500 calories, doing 2-hour cardio streams. Oh, Kobe about to be on 1,500 calories, putting 2-hour streams, and still putting up 15 videos a month. If I can do that, I would fall apart. I think I could probably pull that off for 3 months if I never left the house, which also would mean I would never shoot anything nice enough to actually like make into a video. Also, I'm so sorry that this treadmill's making a sound. My backpack strap is like stuck on the back of this thing. But no, I wouldn't drop my calories that low. Like the lowest I've ever gone, and this is like a week out, was 2,400. But I was also lifting like 5-6 times a week, so unlikely. My mother-in-law is Thai. They warned me about food spicy temperature. Thai food is not to play around with, though, in terms of spice. Hang on a second. Someone just sent me a text message about something, asking me some stuff that I can answer. I mean, Boxell camera, I think Lumix can push the S1R2 sensor more, see proper cooling so it doesn't thermal throttle. I wonder if you could change the readout speed, though. I think that might be one of those things, like how much balance to heat to readout can you get out of it, which I don't know. And how, like, and then also you have to balance size too. Like, it has to be a reasonable enough size in order to do that. So okay, so what we're gonna do is hang on, how long do I have on here? I'm gonna get to 45 minutes, and I will leave the door open for Cameron to, if he wants to jump in, or if I'm gonna jump into his stream. If not, then I'm gonna keep my ass here. Live in the Midwest, mayonnaise is spicy to a lot of people. That's crazy. Do you still recommend that Ageless Type A cards? I got a lot of mixed reviews, got amazing deals, so I'm rolling with them still. I haven't had a problem with them when I did have them, and I was using the FX3 more. So I don't have a problem with them. That doesn't necessarily mean you won't. I just haven't per se. So in terms of recommendation, I'd say so. I still have a bunch of CF Express Type B cards, but if you have an issue, like every technology company kind of does at some point, so you cardio left. I left the door open for Cam. If he wants to let me on stream, he can. If not, I got 30 minutes of cardio left, and I'm not getting off this thing. So, will the FX be the hit people want if it has no open gate but has a global shutter sensor? Price point will depend on that, I think, because like if you like, because basically that would be the Red Komodo kind of. Think about it, it'd be the Red Komodo X, be global sensor, probably I don't know, like 6 to 8K. Well, I can't imagine it being 4K. Its frame rates probably won't be super crazy at that full resolution, but at the same time, you're not going to get raw with Sony, so I could see them maybe doing like a full frame readout, but like line skipped or whatever the term is, to get like 120 frames a second at 4K or something like that. It depends on the sports shooter guys, because I know a lot of the stuff they come out with kind of adheres to the big contracts they have, which is the NHL and the NFL. So if you think about it, like whatever is going to appease like people that shoot live sports is probably closer to what I would imagine an FX6 body upgrade would be like. Yes, I agree with that. I would love to see them update the BS1H. Even like, you know what, a BS1H2, which I don't know if it's too small for that. I could see being good. So doors open for the cowboy. If he wants me in, I'll be in, but not. I got 25 minutes of cardio, kids. I'm gonna up this a little bit. Getting that sound to stop. The backpack strap is stuck in there. Wait, would you give up all your SSD recordings if your dream camera had it? I know I would. Like if every camera had a built-in SSD, yeah, I'd get rid of my. No, actually I wouldn't. Because like, if something happens and I need to recover footage from somewhere, or I have to deliver footage somewhere, then you're kind of screwed. Like any workflow that involves more than one person, yeah, if there's more than one person, then you're kind of out of sorts now. Cam Cody's looking for his cowboy. Well, he could look in the mirror, or he could watch that movie with the mountain again. I don't remember what it's called. The B1H looks so small, it looks funny. It does look very funny. The BS1H looks so small that I actually didn't know what it was when I first saw it. I'm at the external recording to SSD. No, still wouldn't. I don't think I would. I wouldn't get rid of all my SSDs if it externally recorded. I don't think I would. It's because like also buying hard drives are tough and annoying, and they're just larger, so it's harder. Like it's harder to store them. Yes, I do agree with this. Lumix creating a 32-bit top handle, kind of like Canon's. I think that'd be dope. Decided to come back here today. Hey, let's go. There's nothing super interesting. I just wanted to talk while I got my cardio done, because truthfully, this is like the only way I know how to do it effectively, if I'm being honest with you. So, because it's the only way I know how to effectively do my cardio is by talking. That's why we do these treadmill streams. So here it is. Also, it taught me how to figure out how to do this little live streaming setup, because now this is just on a desk arm. And I think what I'm going to do by tonight is I'm going to like slide the arm over down a little bit, make my life easy. Okay. Depending on starting out with the Lumix S5II, start out with that S5II and make yourself some money, bro. My opinion is if you have a camera that you can start with, start on it now. Go and make some money. Worry about the other stuff later. Go make some money. If you already got the camera, go make some money. Hang on a second. My tripod just kind of fell off. Oh yeah, I saw it. He did a great job with it. I saw it. Cam's killing it. Especially he put a boot on some stuff. Go watch it. Go watch it, guys. So KG, you might be ready to do that. I can't. I couldn't bring myself to go back to that. I had a C200 for a long time. And I don't want to go back to that. I can't. Not like in my soul knowing what's out there. Honestly, I'd rather have the Nikon ZR with the Turtle 32-bit float. The only hard part with that is that I'd love to be able to use like the Sennheiser MK416, the MKE600, like other XLR compatible things. I'd rather have that, because then if I have to place anything, I think I'd rather have that than 32-bit float, because the mic sounds so good. And 32-bit float will help with like peaking, but in terms of like audio quality, like that's going to come down to a mic. 32-bit float can't make your mics sound better. It can just stop you from clipping. Sorry, I had an Edelkrone tripod I just dropped here. It'll stop it from clipping. Also, you know what's cool about this is like I can move this around a little bit, so we can see how this new office is starting to look. Did the FX6 come with the top handle? Yes, it did. The FX6 came pretty much like ready to shoot when you get it. My cards could be V30 again. That is true, but I mean, yeah, wait for some Black Friday sales and you get some cheap hard drives. Also, I may have like a formalized show one of these days, but right now, I like doing this. Also, has anyone else purchased a treadmill? And if you have, how long have you been using it for? Oh, I mean, in the Lumix, yes. Internal 32-bit float would be good. I still want to have XLR ports, though, if I'm going to be honest with you, though. Like, if I have to give up XLR 24-bit for 3.5 and a 32, I think I'd take the 24 with XLR. That's just me, though. And if it has both, perfect. I'm all about that. Okay. Hang on a second. This thing is making an infernal sound. I don't know how long I want to stay on it for. So next thing on my list, let me actually pull my list back up again. I'm going to pull my list of things I wanted in an FX6 Mark II, because I made a list, and this is going to be a whole video, and I never ended up making it. EVF. I need give me an EVF. That little screen on the FX6 is only good inside, only good when it's dimly lit. It's tiny. I'd love like a legitimate EVF. Have you tried doing have you tried editing or doing any type of work while on the treadmill? Yes. So I can't cut videos because I body sway. So like if I press something, it might screw up. But I can color grade, I think, pretty decently on it now. I can do admin work pretty decently on it now. I can send emails pretty decently. So I can do some work. I just can't do everything. And if I can, honestly, I would set this to like 2 miles an hour and I would work 6 hours. Like I'd be able to work all day long. We sold a treadmill in December on, man. And it made the melanated skin look amazing with very little. I think you talk about Canon. Canon colors did look great out of camera. Do you think the FX2 was a trial balloon for the future FX3II? No, I think they're going to be completely different cameras and completely different systems. I don't think so at all. I think Sony is very aware of who their FX3 people are, and if the A7 V updates are any indication, they're just focusing on what things that made our previous customers upset and how do I fix that. Oh, I mean, from an EVF standpoint, no, I don't think so. I could see them just leaving the FX3 to be the FX3 and see how that goes. Especially if it doesn't have, like, if it's going to be a lower megapixel thing, I don't necessarily see the point. So there's no point. Yeah, I feel like I took the FX6 screen off for the most part, or I kept it in the back and I used it just to see a menu because that was the only way you could if you didn't have the HDMI display on. So I agree with that. I didn't really use it that much, or I didn't find much use out of it outside of menus. Oh, yeah. Okay, so that was a sacrifice you had to make. Me, someone with no sons, has an office and a workout room. So this is my office and workout room. Okay. You know what? There's only 26 of us here. I'm gonna wrap up my obligatory cardio, but let's go and crash cam stream, and maybe I will come on later on. But let's all go make fun of Cam, but like in a friendly way, of course. Don't say nasty things and tell him I said to say that. Tell him his hat's a funny color. Try backman speed. It might help you with the treadmill. Ooh, I might take a look at that. Okay, we're gonna go crash cam stream, and maybe I'll come on later, or maybe I won't.